What does your nose have to do with tasting a great meal? On today's menu. Around the globe, chefs, scientists, and perfumers team up to explore the impact of fragrance on flavor. At the Monell Chemical Senses Center in Philadelphia, scientists explore the link between smell and memory.
What does it remind you of? Like
crayon.
Yes.
From Morocco's land of flying goats, one of the world's most prized fragrant oils, a chef teams up with a perfumer to create aromatic recipes.
Oh my God, this is so good.
The fragrance of Provence inspires Chef Jacques Chebois' plat du jour.
It smells as if though it's come from a perfume shop.
Many people don't realize that it's our sense of smell that allows us to turn the taste of sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and umami into thousands of flavors.
I love the smell of potato chips.
The sense of smell is a neglected sense because people don't realize how important it is in flavor.
Wow.
Aroma is one of the most important components of flavor. Certainly, it's one of the most informative.
Oh, it smells so good.
So if you're interested in enjoyment of food, that's terrific. You have to understand the sense of smell. My name is Marcy Pelshaw, and I'm a sensory psychologist at the Monell Chemical Senses Center in Philadelphia.
For many of us, the scent of home-baked apple pie is forever linked with happy childhood memories. At the Monell Chemical Senses Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, sensory scientist Marcy Pelshaw seeks to understand why. Her research has helped chefs like Alison Barshak understand the crucial role of aroma in the enjoyment of food. Barshak has traveled extensively using the aromatics she discovered abroad to inform her cuisine. Today, Pelshaw visits for a sensory workshop designed to decode the link between aroma, memory, and the dining experience.
My name is Alison Barshak. We're in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. I'm chef owner of Alison at Bluebell.
Chefs need to understand how flavor works in order to provide the most flavorful food possible to their clientele.
All your senses have to do with your dining experience, traveling, eating, enjoying life.
Alison.
It was natural for me to reach out to Marcy and see the connection.
This is what's called the retronasal pathway, and your smell receptors are right here under the base of the brain. So when you eat, little movements of your tongue and palate push puffs of air up to the olfactory receptors. Now, most people are not fully aware of the importance of the sense of smell and flavor. So we have our jelly bean demo, and there are 3 flavors. Coffee is the brown one, banana's the yellow one, and licorice is the black one. You're not a licorice fan, are you? Okay, don't complain. You're doing it for science. Shake them up. Don't look.
All right.
Pinch your nostrils. Pick one without looking at what color you have. Put it in your mouth and begin chewing. Now, try to guess what flavor you have. Now, before you swallow it, let go and see if it's any easier to tell.
I was wrong.
I was wrong, too. What did you have?
I have licorice.
Me, too. Chefs also need to understand food memory, which plays a very important part in how people appreciate their food. When you sample something and you're trying to figure out what's in it and how you could recreate it, you're relying on smell memory. What does it remind you of? When I
Crayon.
Yes. Yes.
I had to
yes.
dig back deep to the crayon days.
So when you smelled crayon, it's like looking at a familiar face,
Yes.
knowing it's familiar. You
Yes.
can come up with the name.
Uh-huh.
So it's the tip of the nose phenomenon instead of the tip of the tongue phenomenon for names.
Right. This is green papaya salad from Vietnam.
The sense of smell is very emotional. In fact, the part of the brain that evolved for sensing aromas also evolved into the emotional part of the brain.
This is the fish sauce. It's very pungent.
Yeah, it's definitely Southeast Asian.
It is. When I make a dish, a lot of it has to do with me bringing back an experience for my diners. If I close my eyes and I think about someplace I've been, in my head I can smell what it smells like. Well, it's great. What's really interesting is they can live that experience on their plate. I'm remembering that trip, and then I'm sharing it with people. What do you think?
That's terrific. Taste is extremely important, but there's a limited number of taste qualities, yet we can experience thousands upon thousands of different flavors. It's the aroma, the aromatic component, that makes them different.
We are now 10 kilometers outside of the beautiful city Essaouira on the Atlantic Ocean. This area is famous for the production of the argan oil.
Extracted from the seeds of the argan tree, argan oil is one of the world's most prized fragrant oils. More than just delicious, it's also said to have restorative qualities and is used to treat dry skin and even wrinkles. And it can only be found in the Sioux Valley, about 80 miles southwest of Marrakesh.
Here in Morocco, everybody treasures argan oil for its rich and aromatic qualities. The smell and the flavor is sweet, like an almond. Argan is the most precious cooking oil in the world. Its price is about 3 or 4 times the price of olive oil or any other vegetable oil. And it's used in all kinds of dishes, salads, meat dishes, and couscous. Argan oil is produced exclusively in Morocco. And it's in this area, the south of Morocco, that we have these trees called argan. This is called the land of the mythical flying goats, because the shepherds in this area bring their goats in the morning and they leave them to graze here. They actually climb all the way to the top of the trees and they spend hours eating the leaves and sometimes even the fruit. Now this shell is the outer shell. And then the nuts inside are roasted and squeezed, and that's where we get the oil. There are about 20,000 argan trees in this area. The output of a tree is between 1.5 to 2 liters per tree, and it only produces fruit once a year. The Asdig cooperative is responsible for harvesting the nuts and making oil from it. And then all the profits and benefits are shared among the members of the cooperative. This is the first step of the collection of the fruit. So now they will fill this bag and then take it inside and start removing the outer shell. This is Amina, and she's one of the ladies who work in this cooperative. The women who work in the cooperative are actually Berber women who live in this area. Most of them are teenage girls and some widows, and this is really something very important because they come and they find a way of making some income and helping themselves and even their families. Now we are in the room where the nuts are broken to extract the oil. Now this is the real nut, what looks like almond. These nuts cannot be eaten raw. They have to be roasted and then squeezed. And as you see, the nuts are being ground, and that actually brings up the aroma even more. It's a very strong smell. It's very nutty. It's like sesame butter or peanut butter. No, the reason why they use their hands is that they have to keep squeezing the paste. Now she will start gradually adding water, and it helps the extraction. Now she's working the paste until she feels that's getting more solid, just like one big block of paste, and then the oil will be coming out. So after about 15 or 20 minutes of kneading the paste, the oil finally starts to come out. Actually, my grandmother is from this area, so when I was a kid, she used to come here and bring back home maybe 20 bottles of pure argan oil. And as soon as she opened one bottle, the neighbors would come in because they would smell the strong aroma, because not many people could get it. Ah, wonderful aroma. There's nothing like it. I mean, you have to taste it to know what it is like. But the flavor is just great.
All the roses that I grow really smell and taste wonderful. I love how these smell. And these are one of my favorite perfume ingredients. And they have this wonderful aroma, just a wonderful, soft aroma due to the presence of the essential oils in here. I'm Mandy Aftel, and I'm here in Berkeley, California in my perfume studio. I'm a natural perfumer.
The power of scent has long attracted the attention of chefs for its ability to enhance cuisine. So when acclaimed natural perfumer Mandy Aftel met San Francisco-based chef Daniel Patterson, there was instant chemistry. The two collaborated on a pioneering cookbook on how essential oils, often used as the basis of perfume, could be used as a flavor component in the kitchen. The result? Bold new aromatic combinations that may encourage chefs to experiment like never before.
Awesome. This is my perfume organ. It's called an organ because you sit down and it kind of looks like an organ because it has very shallow shelves with essences on them. The materials that I use are essential oils. Essential oils come from a process of distillation where you steam the plant material and the essential oil floats to the top. Everything I use comes from plants. I use nothing that comes from a test tube and nothing that's synthetic. So I may have very exotic ingredients you've never heard of, but they are the essence and soul of that plant. Smell this. This is incredible Zantique fennel. It's amazing.
Oh, man.
When I wrote my first book, I began to work with chef Daniel Patterson. He had gotten interested in using essential oils in the cooking. I think we originally said, like, let's do a dinner, but it kind of morphed into let's do a cookbook. Kind of one thing led to another, and before we knew it, he was using them in food. And I was suggesting new oils and giving him new oils, and it was totally exciting. This is this very aldehydic orange. It's from South Africa, wild sweet orange. It's amazing. It's like no other orange.
Mandy came by the restaurant, and she brought with her a little kit of essential oils. Oh, that's really nice. And that was the first time I'd ever seen an essential oil. I didn't really know what it was, but by the end of smelling all 50, I felt like I was completely high. One thing I was thinking would be fun to try is savory sabayon sauce, and I was thinking we would pick out something that would go with salmon. So what do you think? The problem was there was no template on how to use the oils, and so I started experimenting. Blood orange?
Tarragon would be good.
Blood orange and tarragon together?
I want you wild sweet orange instead of blood orange.
Okay, so wild orange and tarragon sabayon.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I am asked, why bother? Why should I bother using essential oils when I can get the real material? Because what's revealed in essential oil is a floral back note that you don't really even pick up in the real material because it's the essence of it. Oh, it's good.
Yeah?
I like it, yeah.
So let's go make it. So sabayon is very light, kind of foamy sauce. And then we've got one extremely small piece of fish, but it's mostly about the sauce.
Oh, it looks beautiful. Oh, wow. Wow, the sauce is terrific.
There's this nice intermingling of flavor of salmon, scent of wild orange, scent of tarragon.
It's an interesting experience working with oils because that marriage is so tight that you're not sure if you're smelling it or tasting it. You kind of can't pull it apart very well.
So I knew you were coming, so I made sure we had plenty of dessert things. So, rose ginger souffle.
Yeah.
So this is yogurt, egg yolks, and blood orange juice. And I'm gonna go 4 drops from the rose, and then 13 of the ginger. Essential oil is what is contained in the plant. It is not separate from the plant. Working with essential oils, you're basically just working with an expression of the plant itself.
It's just another avenue. It's not to replace the natural material, but it's to enhance it and to spark someone's creativity to make something absolutely wonderful.
What are you waiting for?
Oh, I'm nothing. I'm right here. Oh my God, this is so good. It's a perfect marriage of ginger and rose. Waited years to have this. I love it.
Provence is considered the aromatic capital of France. It's the region that's been long celebrated for its incredible aromas. Everything from its natural herbs like rosemary, thyme, as well as its flowers. I'm Louisa Chu, and I'm a chef and a food writer. La Bastide Saint-Antoine is a beautiful historic hotel and restaurant. It's located in the town of Grasse.
Ce qu'on appelle vermacurie.
Its chef, Jacques Chibois, is a Michelin 2-star chef who has created dishes that celebrate the aromas of the region.
Chef Jacques Chibois is so inspired by the perfumed air of Grasse, he once developed a dinner based on the fragrance of Chanel No. 5. A celebrated chef of southern French cooking, Chibois is perhaps best known for his ability to enliven the dining experience with a wide range of aromatics handpicked from his adjacent garden.
Ou si on met des OGM qu'on ne peut plus se reproduire, garder santé comme ça sent bon.
Every day, Jacques wanders through his gardens for inspiration. As we go around the garden, we really see that just about any kind of plants can really be served. They have their own aromas and flavors. They're not just limited to what we designate as simply culinary herbs, but everything from his cypress trees he uses all the way to these hedges, which of course are rosemary. And here he finds that these flowers are perfectly in bloom, and we'll pick them and use them to garnish his dishes later.
Le cyprès, la boule de cyprès. Et ça, je fais une sauce avec.
Ah oui. Jacques was saying that he uses these cypress buds to make a sauce.
C'est un peu amer, mais c'est surtout le parfum.
He's saying that beyond anything, he uses it for the aroma. And it just smells incredibly woodsy and fresh. It smells kind of piney.
Et ça, c'est le jasmin. Et on fait une confiture de jasmin.
Oh, so this is incredibly fragrant, fresh jasmine.
En Tunisie, on met une fleur dans l'oreille.
Oh, okay. So now I am sporting the style of Tunisia. Jacques uses jasmine here for pastry, for ice cream. And he also makes a really wonderful jam out of jasmine.
Si on l'accompagne pas avec un tout petit peu de gras.
I was asking Jacques if he has a favorite aromatic ingredient that he uses, and he said that there's really hundreds and hundreds of them, so it's really almost impossible to say, but his favorites are those of the season. So now we're going to make this salad, which he calls a papillon de langoustine, a butterfly of langoustines.
Pour faire le papillon, il faut des ailes.
Des ailes.
Une tête.
D'accord, okay, so for butterfly, we have to have the wings, the antennas, and the head.
Le sens de la nourriture.
Jacques is taking a few of the greens that we're going to use to make the salad. French green beans, beetroot leaves.
Et là, on va.
These are all from the garden. This is a beautiful, fresh yellow rose. It smells really as if though it's come from a perfume shop. I mean, it's so delicate.
On reconnaît les choses. Parce que si...
One of the important points that Jacques says is that while he's pretty inventive, he thinks it's really important, the decoration is for the taste. What he thinks is one of the most disagreeable things in this world is something that's beautiful but isn't really any good. It's like seeing someone who's beautiful but they aren't really nice. And to him, that's one of the most disappointing things in the world. So now he's taking the fresh citrusy sauce, gently spooning it over, very, very briefly cooked, just barely caramelized langoustine tails. Jacques is now just adding the flowers that we picked, as well as fresh basil. One of the most important things, though, is to really know the aromatic product so that there's a balance. Because sometimes if you don't know it very well and you add too much, she was saying it's actually detestable.
Papillon de langoustine.
This is the butterfly of langoustine.
Volé sur les romarins.
A lot like the butterflies that we see all over Jacques' garden. And this is what inspires him, is nature. So now we're in the pastry kitchen, and Jacques is taking little wild strawberries, and this is olive oil with vanilla seeds, and Jacques is now just adding olives that are preserved in sugar.
Créativité personnelle.
Olives are actually a fruit, and so for himself and his clients, it's been a very surprising but delightful new way to use typically Provençal ingredients like olives and olive oil. This is the mandarin sorbet, and the final touch is a sprig of fresh jasmine. So Jacques was saying, the first thing that we taste with is our eyes, and then as we're drawn in, we can smell the aroma, and from there, what you smell, the aroma, really comes through on your palate. There's a really deep, earthy flavor from the olives that matches really nicely with the strawberries. The sweetness and the acidity come together. I was asking Jacques, what else is there for him to discover in the world of aromas? And he was saying, well, we have to come back next year to figure it out.
People are unaware of how important the sense of smell is because they refer the entire eating experience to the food on the tongue. So if you're interested in enjoyment of food, you have to understand the sense of smell.